Hey, what's going on, everybody? MysterySchooler here, back with another live presentation. We're doing the Testament of Solomon. Ooh. It's so funny when you talk about texts like these because it's an Abrahamic text, but it's considered non-canon by the current churches. But, like, what does that even mean, non-canon? Like, I thought that was a term for comic books, you know what I mean? It's like when they choose not to have something as part of a story, but, like, for fiction, whatever. But for nonfiction, what are you even talking about? Then what are these writings? Then what are these writings? So to me, just because some guy at a church decided not to add it into the book that we currently read doesn't mean that it's not a text of significance. And with that, we're going to roll right into, real quick, shout out from my buddy, Jeremiah. Thanks for giving me a warm welcome at work, man. I really appreciate you. I was impressed by how much you knew about the Bible, bro. Yeah, Testament of Solomon. Let's get into it. How's everyone today? We got Caucasian Sasquatch in the house. What's up, buddy? Yeah, I hope it works too, man. James Ortiz, welcome. How's everyone today? Gonna listen to a quick song, and we're gonna jump right into it. When the temple of the city of Jerusalem was being built, and the artificers were working thereat, Ornias, the demon, came among them toward sunset, and he took away half of the pay of the chief deviser's little boy, as well as half of his food. So King Solomon called the boy one day and questioned him, saying, "Do I not love thee more than all the artisans who are working in the temple of God? Do I not give thee double wages and a double supply of food? How is it that day by day and hour by hour thou growest thinner?" But the child said to the king, I pray thee, king, listen to what has befallen all that thy child hath. After we are all released from our work on the temple of God, after sunset, when I lie down to rest, one of the evil demons comes and takes away from me one half of my pay and one half of my food. Then he also takes hold of my right hand and sucks my thumb. And lo, my soul is oppressed, and so my body waxes thinner every day. Now when I, Solomon, heard this, I entered the temple of God and prayed with all my soul night and day that the demon might be delivered into my hands, and that I might gain authority over him. And it came about through my prayer that grace was given to me from the Lord Sabaoth by Michael, his archangel. So yeah, that's an important name right there, guys. Lord Sabaoth. Pay attention to that. That's Jehovah. He brought a little ring having a seal consisting of an engraved stone, and said to me, Take, O Solomon, king son of David, and the gift which the Lord God has sent thee, the highest Sabaoth. With it thou shalt lock up all demons of the earth, male and female. And with their help thou shalt build up Jerusalem. But thou must wear the seal of God. The engraving of the seal of the ring sent thee is a pentalpha. So yeah, God sent Michael the archangel to bring Solomon this ring so that he could capture demons. And the symbol is a pentalpha. That symbol right there on the right is a pentalpha. I wonder why they teach us that's so evil or whatever, huh? Who is they exactly? Who would not want us to have that, right? The thing that captures demons or whatever. Anywho, sound familiar, guys? Pokemon much? Throwing a ring at little monsters to capture them? Where do you think Pokemon comes from? All these guys on the top know about Kabbalah and mysticism, black magic, all this kind of stuff. They know about it. And I, Solomon, was overjoyed and praised and glorified the God of heaven and earth. And on the morrow I called the boy and gave him the ring, and I said to him, Take this, and at the hour in which the demon shall come unto thee, throw this ring at the chest of the demon, and say to him, In the name of God, King Solomon calls thee hither. Then do thou come running to me, without having any misgivings or fear in respect of aught thou mayest hear on the part of the demon. Yeah, so Solomon gave the kid the ring and said, When next time the demon messes with you, throw it at him, and then come straight back to me. So the child took the ring and went off. And behold, at the customary hour, Ornias, the fierce demon, came like a burning fire to take the pay from the child. But the child, according to the instructions received from the king, threw the ring at the chest of the demon and said, King Solomon calls thee hither. And then he went off at a run to the king. But the demon cried out aloud, saying, Child, why hast thou done this to me? Take the ring off me, and I will render to thee the gold of the earth. Only take this off me, and forbear to lead me away to Solomon. So yeah, the kid did what Solomon said, and threw the ring at the demon, and the demon's now promising him all the gold on the earth if he will just release him. What do you guys think? You think the demon's good for it? You think he's going to get all the gold from the earth if you release him? Or I have a feeling he's not. But the child said to the demon, As the Lord God of Israel liveth, I will not brook thee. Yeah, good boy. So come hither. And the child came at a run, rejoicing to the king, and said, I have brought the demon, O king, as thou didst command me, O my master. And behold, he stands before the gates of the court of thy palace, crying out and supplicating with a loud voice, offering me the silver and gold of the earth, if I will only bring him unto thee. When Solomon heard this, he rose up from his throne and went outside into the vestibule of the court of his palace. And there he saw the demon shuddering and trembling. And he said to him, Who art thou? And the demon answered, I am called Ornias. Ooh. What do you guys think? We officially have the first interrogation of King Solomon of a demon in the story. Guys, tip of the iceberg, believe me. If you haven't heard this one, strap in. And Solomon said to him, "Tell me, O demon, what zodiacal sign thou art subject?" And he answered, "To the water pourer. I strangle those who reside in Aquarius because of their passion for women whose zodiacal sign is Virgo. But in case there is no disposition to sleep, I am changed into three forms. Whenever men come to be enamored of women, I metamorphose myself into a comely female. I take hold of the men in their sleep and play with them. And after a while, I again take my wings and hie me to the heavenly regions. I also appear as a lion, and I am commanded by all the demons. I am offspring of the archangel Uriel, the power of God." That's interesting that he's this, dark, evil demon, that's preying on mankind. And he's saying he is offspring of the archangel Uriel, who is not a bad guy. You know what I mean? So, interesting. This guy's closely related to an archangel, but he's one of the fallen ones. So he's probably pretty powerful, you know. And that's consistent with what they consider canon in religion, right now. The fallen ones. He says it would make sense if he was once up there, he'd be related to one of them up there. This one's related to the archangel Uriel before they fell. Before a bunch of them made a pact to come down here, like in the book of Enoch. Another story they don't like us talking about. I think the reason they keep these stories out is because it makes deep connections with Greek mythology and also the zodiac as well. Like the stars being demons and shooting stars being demons moving out of their place and things like that. So it's strange. That's from another story, King Solomon, that we are going to cover someday. But and I'm pretty sure in this story later, other demons talk about that they are this star, they are that star. They appear as shooting stars to men and stuff like that. It's interesting. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. I, Solomon, having heard the name of the archangel, prayed and glorified God, the Lord of heaven and earth. And I sealed the demon and set him to work at stone cutting, so that he might cut the stones in the temple, which, lying along the shore, have been brought by the sea of Arabia. But he, fearful of the iron, continued and said to me, I pray thee, King Solomon, let me go free. I will bring you all the demons. Interesting. So King Solomon's going to have a demon go out and capture other demons for him. Sounds like Pokemon, right? Like, you have your Pokemon beat up the other Pokemon, and then you capture that Pokemon by throwing a ring at it, right? But King Solomon wants to capture all the demons. And also notice he's setting them to work in his temple. This is a recurring theme in Greek mythology as well. Apollo and Poseidon built the walls of Troy as punishment under Zeus's order. So this whole having demons or angels or gods or whatever you want to call them building structures for people isn't just a Greek thing or Greco-Roman thing. It's Abrahamic as well. Anyways, he said, I pray thee, King Solomon, let me go free, and I will bring you all the demons. And as he was not willing to be subject to me, I prayed the archangel Uriel to come and succor me. And I forthwith beheld the archangel Uriel coming down to me from the heavens. So he's not willing to cooperate with Solomon. So Solomon's praying to him. He's telling on him. Solomon is telling on him. He's telling his mom or dad or whatever that he's not listening like he's supposed to be listening. You guys said he was going to listen, right? So now, he's seeing Uriel, seeing him coming down from above. So he's witnessing an archangel coming down among us. It's pretty freaking. And the angel bade the sea monsters come out of the abyss. So his presence interfered with the waters below and made the sea monsters come out. And he cast his destiny upon the ground. And that destiny made subject to him the great demon. And he commanded the great demon and bold demon Ornias to cut stones at the temple. And accordingly, I, Solomon, glorified the God of heaven and maker of the earth. And he bade Ornias came with his destiny, and gave him the seal, saying, Away with thee, and bring me hither the pieces of all the prince of all the demons. So Ornias took the finger ring and went off to Beelzebul, who has kingship over the demons. He said to him, Hither, Solomon calls thee. But Beelzebul, having heard him, said to him, Tell me, who is this Solomon of whom thou speakest of? Then Ornias threw the ring at the chest of Beelzebul, saying, Solomon the king calls thee. I choose you. Pokemon. But Beelzebul cried aloud with a mighty voice, and shot out a great burning flame of fire. And he rose and followed Ornias, and came to Solomon. Whoa. So they got Beelzebul himself, the prince of demons, up there right now for his interrogation. What do you guys make of all this, huh? I thought it'd be interesting to point out and take a little breather here that, these Nephilim guys or whatever are supposed to be the ones who cut down all the great trees of the earth. And it said that the reason they did this was to avoid persecution from God. So I wonder if this, these big trees had made some kind of connection with above and below, where there was more spirit or energy or soul in the air, whatever you want to call it. I mean, big trees like that would make more oxygen. You have increased oxygen, you have increased growth. It's a trip to separation of science and religion to me, because if you ask me, ancient religion was science. They're pretty similar, actually, when you understand both of them decently, or whatever. I feel like with the separation of religion and science, we kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater, And when I saw the prince of demons, I glorified the Lord God, maker of heaven and earth, and I said, Blessed art thou, Lord God Almighty, who hast given to Solomon thy servant wisdom, the assessor of the wise, and hast subjected unto me all the power of the devil. So this is the devil straight up. He's got the devil, guys. He captured the devil. And I questioned him and said, Who art thou? The demon replied, I am Beelzebub, the exarch of the demons, and all the demons have their chief seats close to me. And I it is who make manifest the apparition of each demon. And he promised to bring me to me in bonds all the unclean spirits. And I again glorified the God of heaven and earth, as I do always give thanks to him. I then asked of the demon if there were females among them. Oh, interesting question, huh? Are there females among them? So, a lot of people interpret this as, they're just, they're spiritual in this. They're spirits, right? But it's like, are they both? Are they more? Because how do you have how are you a spirit and have a gender? Is it gender like exclusive to a body? So to me, if they have gender, then they have bodies, yes? I don't know. Anyways, King Solomon asked if there were females among them. And this is going to go into Greek mythology, guys, you're going to see here. The satyrs, succubi, and Dutch folklore as well, Scandinavian. And when he told me that there were, I said that I desired to see them. So Beelzebul went off at high speed and brought unto me Onoskelis, she who has ass's legs. So, a goat or a horse-footed woman, we hear, guys, do I even need to tell you what a recurring theme this is throughout all the other mythologies as well? I didn't know in Abrahamic until I read this text. Maybe this is why they consider it non-canon, quote unquote. Like, who even gets to decide that? Give me a break. Oh, he brought unto me Onoskelis, she who has ass's legs, that had a very pretty shape, and the skin of a fair-hued woman, and she tossed her head. And when I read that, I always think like she tosses her head like, on a horse, like, and tosses her head, That's how I read that one. And when she was come, I said to her, Tell me, who art thou? But she said to me, I am called Onoskelis. I am a spirit which has been made into a body, lurking upon the earth. There is a golden cave where I lie, but I have a place that never shifts. I have a many-sided character. My most frequent dwelling places are the precipices, caves, and ravines. Oftentimes, however, do I consort with men in the semblance of a woman, and above all with those a honey-colored skin, for they share my star with me. See, guys, the star with the demon thing again. Since they it is who privily or openly worship my star, without knowing that they harm themselves, and but whet my appetite for further mischief, for they wish to provide money by means of memory, possibly commemoration. But I supply a little to those who worship me fairly. Wow, sounds very succubi like, right? Succubus, other folklores, like a satyr, like a nymph, centaur as well. And I, Solomon, questioned her about her birth, and she replied, I was born of a voice untimely, the so-called echo of a man's order. I was generated from that an unexpected voice, which is called a voice of the echo of a black heaven, emitted in matter. Interesting. And I said to her, under what star dost thou pass? You guys are going to notice a formula with Solomon's questioning as we go on these interrogations. He always asks, what star dost thou pass? So it's like you can't, when you're coming through here, you're like the energy of a star moving through this realm or something like that. The way I interpret it, I don't know. And you know how they say the zodiac, is a star, is a constellation that your soul is affiliated with. Seems a little significant. I mean, I'm just saying if the zodiac is just like an interesting, like, parlor trick kind of thing or whatever, or like, a gimmicky gift shop kind of thing, then why does King Solomon ask, the first question to these super powerful beings is what star they pass under, right? Which is just super into the zodiac. Like, you get what I'm saying? I don't get it. It seems significant to me. Anywho, under what star dost thou pass? And she answered me, under the star of the full moon, for the reason that the moon travels over most things. Then I said to her, and what angel is it that frustrates thee? And she said to me, he hath in thee is reigning. Oh, so Lord Sabaoth, yeah. And I thought that she mocked me and bade a soldier strike her. But she cried aloud and said, I am subjected to thee, O king, by the wisdom of God given to thee, and by the angel Joel. Oh, okay, there you go. See? So it seems like not only are the fallen demons affiliated with these stars and man's soul, according to the zodiacs, right? But the souls of the higher angels as well, the archangels and all these guys. See, the angel Joel. So I commanded her to spin the hemp for the ropes used in the building of the house of God. And accordingly, when I had sealed and bound her, she was so overcome and brought to naught as to stand night and day spinning the hemp. Yeah, so she didn't take being sealed very well. Sounds like she was traumatized and just went straight to her slave labor or whatever, mindlessly. It's pretty messed up, but I don't know. I kind of feel bad for the demons, but also they're tormenting man, so you know what I mean? But, yes, that's kind of messed up, though. I guess someone's got to spin the hemp. And I at once bade another demon to be led unto me. And instantly there approached me the demon Asmodeus, bound. And I asked him, who art thou? But he shot on me a glance of anger and rage, and said, and who art thou? And I said unto him, thus punished as thou art, answerest thou me? But he with rage said to me, but how shall I answer thee? For thou art a son of man, whereas I was born of angel's seed by a daughter of man. Sound familiar, guys? So that no word of our heavenly kind addressed to the arrogant earthborn. Wherefore also my star is bright in heaven, and men call it, some the wain or great bear, Ursa, and some the dragon's child. I keep near unto this star. So ask me not many things, for thy kingdom also after a little time is to be disrupted, and thy glory is but for a season. and short will be thy tyranny over us. And then we shall again have free range over mankind. So as that they shall revere us as if we were gods, not knowing men that they are, the names of the angels set over us. So he's basically saying in the future they won't know the names of the angels held over us. So they won't be able to stop us from reigning free on man. And the King Solomon's era of bound demons and peace, and all this is not going to last for very long. And spoiler alert, it doesn't. And I, Solomon, on hearing this, bound him more carefully and ordered him to be flogged and to tell me humbly what was his name and what his business. And he answered me thus: I am called Asmodeus among mortals, and my business is to plot against the newly wedded, so that they may not know one another. And I sever them utterly by many calamities, and I waste away the beauty of virgin women and estrange their hearts. And I said to him, is this thy only business? Like, what kind of answer is that, right? You just break people's hearts, that's it. Like, he's trying to be sly. He's being slick with Solomon, right? And he answered me, I transport men into fits of madness and desire when they have wives of their own, so that they leave them and go off by night and day to others that belong to other men. And simps, with the result that they commit sin and fall into murderous deeds. Wow. So yeah, you're gonna notice that too. These demons seem to be affiliated with certain emotions or acts of anger and stuff. And I'm not really into Scientology and stuff, but it kind of sounds like that, doesn't it? With the emotions being alien spirits or whatever, could easily just be demon spirits, right? Emotions. It's interesting. But it also seems more than that in this. Like I was saying earlier, they have gender, they have bodies, they're more physical. What's going on here, huh? So which is it? Is it both? I'm thinking it's both. They're physical and spiritual. They can jump in and out of their body or whatever. It's not such a big deal. I don't know. You're going to notice that they go from ethereal to physical, just like at will, randomly in the story. And I adjured him by the name of the Lord Sabaoth, saying, fear God, Asmodeus, and tell me by what angel thou art frustrated. But he said, by Raphael, the archangel that stands before the throne of God. But the liver of gall of fish put me to flight when smoked over ashes of the tamarisk. So you're going to notice, guys, as they're being interrogated, it seems like they have to answer truthfully, or at least partially truthfully. Like, it seems like they're not able to fully lie. And I think this has to do with the ring that Archangel gave Solomon, because yeah, it's like they can't lie. Even one of the demons later even actually says in the middle of his interrogation, but why do I say so much? Like, he's like wondering, like, what? Why? It's almost like they have truth serum without the serum, right? I don't know. Again, I asked him and said, hide not aught from me, for I am Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. Tell me the name of the fish which thou reverest. And he answered, it is the glanos by name, sheatfish, a large catfish, and is found in the rivers of Assyria, wherefore it is that I roam about in those parts. Yeah, this is another thing you guys are going to notice too. Not only do words sometimes expel these things, but burning certain incense or certain fish organs and things like that are said to keep certain demons away, according to them. And it's interesting because, a lot of tribal religions do things like this. And don't forget, this is an Abrahamic text. So, like I said, you're going to keep seeing why I think they chose to keep this one out. And I said to him, hast thou nothing else about thee, Asmodeus? And he answered, the power of God knoweth, which hath bound me with the indissoluble bonds of yonder one seal, that whatever I have told thee is true. Oh, there we have it, guys. He said he's forced to tell the truth. I pray thee, King Solomon, condemn me not to go into water. But I smiled and said to him, As the Lord God of my fathers liveth, I will lay iron on thee to wear, but thou shalt also make the clay for the entire construction of the temple, treading it down with thy feet. And I ordered them to give him 10 water jars to carry water in. You see what I mean, guys? So, I get that he's a demon, right? He asked him, please, there's probably so many things to do for the temple, right? He's like, please don't make me touch water. Don't make me go into water. And the first thing Solomon does is sends him into water. You know what I mean? So it's like torture. And I get it. These are like demons and stuff, but like, shouldn't we as men, especially righteous men, try to not do things like that? Like, shouldn't we not stoop to their level? We probably shouldn't be torturing them back, right? Like, I don't think that's cool. You know what I mean? But this Lord Sabaoth this has no issue with supporting all this. And if you look into Lord Sabaoth, this is the Christian God. It's the Lord of hosts. It's the mad God, Jehovah. It's not really a chill guy. I mean, I don't have to tell you, you've read the Bible. He just wipes out villages because they were bad or whatever constantly, and kill all the women and children and all kinds of shit. Like, I don't know. Anywho. And I ordered him to do so. Yeah, make the clay for the temple. And this I did because that fierce demon Asmodeus knew even the future. And I, Solomon, glorified him, God, who gave wisdom to me, Solomon, his servant. And the liver of the fish and its gall I hung on the spike of a reed and burned it over Asmodeus because of his being so strong, and his unbearable malice was thus frustrated. Wow, so that's crazy. Basically, Asmodeus was so powerful that his power was radiating so strong that they had to do this ritual with burning this fish gall or whatever on this reed or whatever. That's the only way that they could even stand in his presence or even have him as a captive, because his malice was so powerful. Check that out, huh? Wow. What a trip. And I summoned again to stand before me Beelzebul, the prince of demons, and I sat him down on a raised seat of honor and said to him, Why art thou alone, prince of demons? And he said to me, Because I alone am left of the angels of heaven that came down. For I was first angel in the first heaven, being entitled Beelzebul. And now I control all those who are bound in Tartarus. See, there's a Greek mythology reference, guys, to Tartarus in Abrahamic texts. Okay. Another reason I think they want to keep this out. There also accompanied me another ungodly angel, and he haunts the Red Sea. And on any suitable occasion, he comes up to me again, being subject to me, and reveals to me what he has done, and I support him. I, Solomon, said to him, Beelzebul, what is thy employment? And he answered me, I destroy kings. I ally myself with foreign tyrants, and my own demons I set unto men to be worshipped, in order that the latter may believe in them and be lost. And the chosen servants of God, priests and faithful men, I excite unto desires for wicked sins and evil heresies and lawless deeds. And they obey me, and I bear them on to destruction. And I inspire men with envy and desire for murder, and for wars and sodomy and other evil things, and I will destroy the world. Wow. So again, you guys, I'm going to point out how much they divulge when they're asked, like 5-word questions and stuff. Like, they'll give them like a 2-paragraph answer and like their entire plot. It's like they're forced to speak truth, I'm thinking, So I said to him, Bring to me thy child who is, as thou sayest, in the Red Sea. But he said to me, I will not bring him to thee, but there shall come to me another demon called Ephipus. That sounds familiar. It's a Greek name, right? Ephipus. Him will I bind, and he will bring him up from the deep unto me. And I said to him, How come thy son to be in the depths of the sea, and what is his name? And he answered me, Ask me not, for thou canst not learn from me. However, he will come to thee by any command, and will tell thee openly. I don't know. It sounds kind of shady, guys. He's setting Solomon up for something. I don't know. So I said to him, "Tell me in which star you reside." Again, guys. Wow, what a big zodiac fan King Solomon is. Wow, he just really must be into gift shop posters of the zodiac and like trippy blacklight and stuff, right? La 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 la. No, no. The stars are right above your head. They're your freaking souls or something, dude. There's more truth in the song "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" than you got in your entire fucking education. Anywho, so I said to him, "Tell me in which star you reside." The one called by men the evening star. I said to him, "Tell me by what angel thou art frustrated." And he answered, "By the holy and precious name of the Almighty God, called by the Hebrews by a row of numbers, of which the sum is 644, and among the Greeks it is Emmanuel. And if one of the Romans adjure me by the great name of the power Elith, I disappear at once." You guys are going to notice this "I disappear at once" theme with the demons under a name. So a lot of these demons, if you say a specific name, usually if the archangel that reigns over them, they disappear at once. Okay, now I want you to think of exorcisms, right? Or whatever. I'm not saying exorcisms are real. I have no idea. But I just want to point out that, during exorcisms or whatever you want to call them, what do we have? We have a person from a church, right? Yelling strange names and verses, right? From old scriptures and stuff, correct? Is this some kind of, blind attempt to say the right name by accident? Or I'm just going to start naming all kinds of holy names and hope that it hits the right one? Has the knowledge been lost to us? But you get what I'm saying? Is that where the whole screaming priest of the exorcism thing comes from? Right? "In the name of Jesus, I condemn you, demon, be gone." Right? But, the words have been lost to us, so we just keep saying Jesus or whatever, when really it's, like in this example, Eliath would be the name to say for this one to go away, right? I'm just saying, I don't know. Perhaps there's a phonetic connection. It's having a cymatic effect on the anatomy of the victim. But I, Solomon, questioned him, saying, "If thou gain a respite, discourse to me about the things in heaven." Oh, this gets interesting. Solomon's asking him about what's going on in heaven because, the demons, they're able to hear the song from up there. That's how they describe it. And Beelzebul said, "Hear, O king, if thou burn gum and incense and bulb of the sea with nard and saffron, and light 7 lamps in a row, thou wilt firmly fix thy house. And if being pure thou light them at dawn in the sun alight, thou see the heavenly dragons, how they wind themselves along and drag the chariot of the sun." This heavenly dragons thing really reminds me of Norse mythology with Skull and Hoti, the wolves that drag the sun and the moon. Also, with Chinese mythology, right, with the dragons and the celestials being celestials, zodiac. And also, I think this could be a psychedelic reference. I mean, with the burning naphron and nard and 7 lamps, and how would that make you see something, right? Have to be some kind of psychedelic, perhaps. I don't know. Kind of reminds me of I don't know if you guys have ever read The Divine Pymander, but yeah, there's a dragon being presenting itself as God in that one. It's pretty interesting. It's supposed to be Hermes Trismegistus, Thoth as well. Interesting tale. Yeah, The Divine Pymander. Check it out. And I, Solomon, having heard this, rebuked him and said, "Silence for this present, and continue to saw the marble as I commanded thee." So he pissed off Solomon. And I, Solomon, praised God and commanded another demon to present himself to me. And one came before me who carried his face high up in the air, but the rest of the spirit curled away like a snail, and it broke through the few soldiers and raised also a terrible dust on the ground, and carried it upwards, and then again hurled it back to frighten us. and asked what questions I could ask as a rule. And I stood up and spat on the ground in that spot, and sealed with the ring of God, and forthwith the dust wind stopped. Then I asked him, saying, Who art thou, O wind? Then he once more shook up a dust and answered me, What wouldst thou have, King Solomon? I answered to him, Tell me what thou art called, and I would fain ask thee a question. But so far I give thanks to God, who has made me wise to answer their evil plots. So he's basically saying, I'm going to ask you a few questions, and don't try to trick me because God's on my side. Okay? I'm not one of your regular normies. Okay, I'm not going to start worshiping you. I'm not going to fall for whatever plot you want me to follow. All right, I'm going to ask some questions. Oh, and I'd like to make a comment, guys, real quick on this text here I put in green, spat on the ground. Where Solomon spat on the ground where the demon came in, there's a thing in antiquity, it's pretty common, for the use of spittle to produce a cure or other effect in a magical way. And there's all the, Mark 7:33, John 4:6, Jesus we read spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle and anointed the eyes with the clay. Of this magic use of spittle, Pliny and his natural history gives numerous examples. Oh, Pliny the Elder. It was common in antiquity. Yeah, so there's like this magic affiliation with spittle. And what do you want to do when you think something's evil or like you're mad, really, really mad, right? What do they call it? Spitting angry, right? Spitting. Why do people do that, right? Why is it a reaction for people to spit on someone when they're really mad at them, right? Does it have to do with this? Some weird thing? I don't know. Interesting. People spit on what they think is wicked. It's like some kind of weird thing ingrained in our DNA. I freaking no idea. But I thought that was interesting. In antiquity, that's like a spell thing. And it worked. When Solomon spat on the ground, the wind subsided and it started to talk to him. The demon answered me, I am the spirit of the ashes, Tephris. And I said to him, What is thy pursuit? And he said, I bring darkness on men and set fire to fields, and I bring homesteads to naught. But most busy am I in summer. However, when I get an opportunity, I creep into corners of the wall by night and day, for I am offspring of the Great One and nothing else. Ooh, scary. Creeps into the corners of the wall by night and day. Sounds like one of those creepy ghosts people see, the peekers or corner leakers or lurkers, whatever they're called, shadow figures and stuff. A lot of interesting correlations with this text and other sightings and stuff. It trips me out. Accordingly, I said to him, Under what star dost thou lie? Well, here we go again, guys. Under what star dost thou lie? And he answered, In the very tip of the moon's horn. When it is found in the south, there is my star. For I have been bidden to restrain the convulsions of the Himerian fever, malaria. And this is why many men pray to the Himerian fever, using these three names, Doltala, Thalala, and Melchal. And I heal them. And I said to him, I am Solomon. When therefore thou wouldst do harm, by whose aid dost thou do it? He said to me, By the angels, by whom also the third day's fever is lulled to rest. Here we go, another affiliation with sickness and demons, guys. What's going on here? They say alcoholism's a disease, and we call alcohol spirits, right? I don't know. I don't really buy it's a disease. It's like an addiction, but whatever. So I questioned him and said, And by what name? And he answered, That of the archangel Azazel. And I summoned the archangel Azazel and set a seal on the demon and commanded him to seize great stones and toss them up to the workmen on the higher parts of the temple. And being compelled, the demon began to do what he was bidden to do. So yeah, he all he has to do is find out which archangel they reside over, and then he's able to seal them. And if you guys look, just go to Google Images or sometimes type in the seals of Solomon. There's all kinds of like really intricate, detailed seals, like designs, patterns, and stuff with the name of like an archangel on each of them. I'm like, is this some kind of technology? Like, if you put this piece of metal or idol or whatever you want to call it in this shape, it'll bind this type of energy to that shape. I don't know. In the Emerald Tablets, Thoth says that the logos and shapes are all just hidden meanings. All shapes are just hidden meanings. Interesting. Give me a second, guys. Woo. Testament of Solomon. We're doing it. Yeah, so he set this guy to work on the temple. So we got a whole bunch of demons working on the temple for God. Interestingly enough, they're not supposed to strike steel in the presence of the construction of the temple. Yeah, imagine that, huh? Making this giant temple and not being able to strike steel near it. Yeah. Now, this is from the Book of Enoch. I'm going to read it real quick. The Book of Enoch brings Azazel into connection with the biblical story of the fall of the angels located on Mount Hermon, a gathering place of demons of old. Here, Azazel is one of the leaders of the rebellious watchers in the time preceding the flood. He taught men the art of warfare, of making swords, knives, and shields, and coats of mail, and taught women the art of deception by ornamenting the body, dyeing the hair and painting the face and the eyebrows, and also revealed to the people the secrets of witchcraft and corrupted their manners, leading them into wickedness and impurity, until at last he was, at Yahweh's command, bound hand and foot by the archangel Raphael and chained to the rough and jagged rocks of Ha-Duadel. Chained to the rocks kind of sounds like Prometheus, huh? Where he is to abide in utter darkness until the great day of judgment, when he will be cast into the fire to be consumed forever. Yeah, what a trip, huh, guys? They're stuck down there. The God or the Lord, whatever you want to call him, put the fallen, punish the watchers that came down here, the fallen ones, specifically Azazel, by locking him up deep underground. Interesting, and they tell us there's demons down there, right? In Christian mythology, and actually pretty much every mythology, there's some kind of underworld hell with demonic entities. Oh, and if you look into the etymology of the word demon, it means a higher being, a genius deity is what you're going to get. So yeah, evil's just a perspective, I think. And this elaborates here from the Book of Enoch 10:8 right here, just how much Azazel's corruption in particular of all the fallen ones was really bad, because he taught warfare and how to work steels and things like that. From Book of Enoch 10:8, the whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin. Wow. And it's one of the angels speaking to God that's at that quote. One of the angels is still up there, a good one. Anyways, back to Solomon. And I glorified God afresh, who gave me this authority, and ordered another demon to come before me. And there came 7 spirits, females, bound and woven together, fair in appearance and comely. And I, Solomon, seeing them, questioned them and said, "Who are you?" But they, with one accord, said with one voice, "We are the 33 elements of the cosmic ruler of the darkness." Chthonic gods, huh? And the first said, "I am deception." The second said, "I am strife." The third said, "I am clothod," which is battle. The fourth, "I am jealousy." The fifth, "I am power." The sixth, "I am error." The seventh, "I am the worst of all. And our stars are in heaven, 7 stars humble in sheen, and all together. And we are called, as it were, goddesses. We change our place all and together we live, sometimes in Lydia, sometimes in Olympus, sometimes in a great mountain. So these are beings that live in Olympus. Oh, a lot of people warn the Greek gods and all these things are fallen ones, and we cartoon them. We make them into cartoons and idolize them a bit nowadays, but a lot of Greek mythology stuff and these deities, right? What do they want? What do they really want when they pray to them? the Greek druids and stuff, they would just straight up like sacrifice lambs and horses and goats and cattle and just about and people too, just about anything. What and these things they're praying to, these things from Olympus, right, would demand blood and sacrifice and the reading of entrails and all this dark crazy shit. It's like, I don't think they're good. And here they are in the presence of Solomon, and no, they're not good. Solomon is literally imprisoning all the dark evil demons for God and putting them to work on this temple. And they're from Olympus. It says right here they're from Olympus. Now, was this kept out so that they could continue to deceive us? I don't know. Is this left out of the Bible so they could continue to deceive us with Greek mythology and all this stuff? I don't know. I'm not saying I don't like Greek mythology. I think it's interesting, but are those my gods? No. Those are fallen ones or something, bro. They want blood? What the fuck? So I, Solomon, questioned them one by one, beginning with the first and going down to the seventh. The first said, I am deception. I deceive and weave snares here and there. I whet and excite heresies, but I have an angel who frustrates me, Lamichalal. Likewise, also the second said, I am strife of strifes. I bring timbers, stones, hangers, my weapons on the spot, but I have an angel who frustrates me, Baruch Yachel. Likewise, also the third said, I am called Clothod, which is battle, and I cause the well-behaved to scatter and fall foul one of another, the other. And why do I say so much? I have an angel that frustrates me, Marmarath. Oh, there it is, guys. I was mentioned earlier. Why do I say so much? Look at that right there. And why do I say so much? They're not able to deceive like they normally would. They're under God's interrogation now. You can't lie in the presence of the Lord. Don't forget, God gave this ring that's binding them to the Archangel Michael to give to Solomon. Like, this is no toy they're playing with here. The demons are not used to being bound like this and interrogated. I don't think they understand the concept. And why do I say so much? Likewise, also the fourth said, I cause men to forget their sobriety and moderation. I part them and split them into parties, for strife follows me hand in hand. I rend the husband from the sharer of his bed, and children from parents, and brothers from sisters. But why tell so much to my despite? I have an angel that frustrates me, the great Balthiel. Sorry, guys. Likewise, also the fifth said, I am power. By power I raise up tyrants and tear down kings. To all rebels I furnish power. I have an angel that frustrates me, Astaroth. Likewise, also the sixth that said, I am error, O King Solomon. Now this one gets personal, guys. If you don't know King Solomon's origin story, pay attention to this. Likewise, also the sixth said, I am error, O King Solomon, and I will make thee to err as I have before made thee to err. When I cause thee to slay thy own brother, I will lead you into error as to pry into graves, a reference to necromancy. I lead errant souls away from all piety, and many other evil traits are mine, but I have an angel that frustrates me, Uriel. Wow, Uriel is popular, huh? A lot of demons don't like him. Likewise, also the seventh said, I am the worst, and I will make thee worse off than thou wast, because I will impose the bonds of Artemis. Artemis, another Greek god. Unbelievable. Goddess of the hunt, Artemis. This demon will impose the bonds of Artemis, goddess of the hunt. Interesting. But the locust will set me free, for by means thereof it is fated that thou shalt achieve my desire. For if one were wise, he would not turn his steps towards me. So I, Solomon, having heard and wondered, sealed them with my ring, and since they were so considerable, I bade them dig the foundations of the temple of God. For the length of it was 250 cubits, and I bade them be industrious, and with one murmur of joint protest they began to perform the task enjoined. But I, Solomon, glorified the Lord, and bade another demon come before me. Wow, so how many Pokemon is Solomon out now, huh? Solomon's captured like 12 Pokemon. And there was brought to me a demon having all the limbs of a man, but without a head. Oh, a blemi. And I, seeing him, said to him, Tell me, who art thou? And he answered, I am a demon. So I said to him, Which? And he answered me, I am called Envy, for I delight to devour heads, being desirous to secure for myself a head. But I do not eat enough, but am anxious to have a head as thou hast. I, Solomon, on hearing this, sealed him, stretching out my hand against his chest, whereon the demon leapt up and threw himself down, and gave a groan, saying, Woe is me! Where am I come to? O traitor Ornias, I cannot see. So he's like, What the hell, Ornias? Don't forget, Ornias is bringing all these demons to Solomon for him. So I said to him, I am Solomon. Tell me then how thou dost manage to see. And he answered me, By means of my feelings. I then, Solomon, having heard his voice come up to me, asked him how he managed to speak. And he answered me, I, O King Solomon, am holy voice, for I have inherited the voices of many men. For in the case of all men who are called dumb, oh, okay. So all the people who can't speak, he has their voice. I it is who smashed their heads when they were children and had reached their 8th day. When a child is crying in the night, I become a spirit and glide by means of his voice in the crossways. Also, I have many services to render, and my encounter is fraught with harm. For I grasp in all instant a man's head, and with my hands, as with a sword, I cut it off. Wow. And put it on to myself. And in this way, by means of the fire which is in me, through my neck, it is swallowed up. Whoa, so this thing has like no head. It has like a mouth in its neck, and it just eats heads through its neck mouth hole. Okay. And I, Solomon, on hearing this, said to him, Tell me, how dost thou discharge forth the fire? Out of what source dost thou emit it? And the Spirit said to me, From the day star, or from the Orient. Another star, guys. For here hath not yet been found that Elburion, to whom men offer prayers and kindle lights, and his name is invoked by the 7 demons before me, and he cherishes them. I said to him, Tell me his name. But he answered, I cannot tell thee, for if I tell his name, I render myself incurable, but he will come in response to his name. And on hearing this, I, Solomon, said to him, Tell me then by what angel thou art frustrated. And he answered, By the fiery flash of lightning. And I bowed myself before the Lord God of Israel, and bade him remain in the keeping of Bezalel until Lax, guardian or watcher, should come. So yeah, it seems like he didn't have to invoke the spirit of lightning, because the spirit of lightning was already with him, right? Yahweh. Yeah, and he asked God to keep an eye on him until one of the guardians or watchers comes. Wow. Then I ordered another demon to come before me, and there came into my presence a hound. Kind of sounds like the Omen, right, guys? You know, this hound and dark spirit reference we hear again in lots of pop culture today. Having a very large shape, and it spoke with a loud voice and said, Hail, Lord King Solomon. And I, Solomon, was astounded. I said to it, Who art thou, O hound? And it answered, I do indeed seem to thee to be a hound. But before thou wast, O King Solomon, I was a man that wrought many unholy deeds on earth. I was surpassingly learned in letters, and was so mighty that I could hold the stars of heaven back. And many divine works did I prepare. For I do harm to men who follow after our star, and turn them to her who is born of Echo, and I seize the frenzied men by the larynx, and so destroy them.